Hi, I'm Dane Campbell. Welcome back to Change with Dane. I'm recording this on the 18th of August, and today I'm going to be starting the discussion about behaviors and how to successfully change behaviors in your life that will, I hope, bring you more peace and success and happiness in your life. I am a behaviorist in heart. I've been doing this with people for 30 years, and I think that I do have some suggestions and some things that I can share with you that can quite potentially help you to have greater success when it comes to changing behaviors in your life that you think would be beneficial to you. So it's been said that the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. And I would say by and large, this statement can be true because we are all creatures of habit. We're people that once we kind of get started in a rut or started down a certain path, we have a tendency to follow that path over and over and over again. That's just what we do and who we are as humans, as people. And this serves a purpose. If we had to make a decision every single day with every single thing that we had to do, it would become very taxing and challenging for us and exhausting to live life, quite frankly. So there's many things that we do, many behaviors that we do, which become habitual. And we just keep following that path because it's easier than having to make a different choice or a different decision every time we need to do something. However, I am of the strong belief that if there are things that we feel like we need to change in our lives, in our behaviors, then I do believe that as thinking, conscious people, we can put things into place that will allow us to change those behaviors, even if they're the most habitual thing to us in the world. So I'm going to talk today about a few principles that will hopefully spark some things in you that will help you as you begin this journey of behavior change. Some of these principles can be applied to the change of thoughts that we have been talking about in the past few weeks. And some of the things will be new because they're specific to behaviors. Behaviors and thoughts are different. Behaviors are observable and measurable things that we do or don't do on a daily basis. Our thoughts can be measured. We can, if we think about it enough, objectively ask ourselves how many negative thoughts I have in a day, or how many times I tell myself one of those, or call myself one of those negative names that we talked about. How many times in a week do I not show myself compassion with the things that I think about? So they can be measured if we choose to do that. However, thoughts are not observable. So it's not possible to look at somebody and say, know what they are thinking. There might be some clues and you can make some guesses, and they might even be educated guesses. But unless you articulate yourself what your thoughts are, or if somebody else articulates to you what their thoughts are, they're not observable. And that's something that you need to kind of make sure that when you're thinking about a behavior that you want to do more of or do less of, that it's an observable thing and it's a measurable thing. And the reason that this is important is because I'm going to, over the course of the next few weeks, help you figure out some ways to make this change lasting. And there are some things that you can do to reinforce your efforts, to kind of give you a little shot in the arm, so to speak, or to build you up when you are going through some of these changes or enacting some of these changes that might help your success in the future. Why change behaviors? Well, there's a lot of reasons, but I'm going to focus on just a couple of things. Oftentimes, over the course of our lives, we fall into habits that may not be healthy, and as time goes on, they might really have a deleterious effect on us as people in our future and what we really want out of life. And let me give you one example. If you're a young person that's skinny and has a high metabolism and is very active in your, let's say, late teens and 20s, it might not matter so much the number of calories that you eat or drink in a day, because your high metabolism, your energy level, and all of those types of things, you might burn a lot of extra calories, and it may just, you may just be skinny and feeling good because of your youth and where you're at in life. But as you mature, and let's say maybe you take on a desk job, or you become a little less active, or a little more sedentary just because of work or other demands that you have in life, those extra calories, which is your, I don't like to call it diet, but your habits and eating, those things may start to have a deleterious effect on your physical appearance and your physical health, because you may start to put on extra pounds, and your body may start changing just because of the lifestyle that you had when you were younger. And so this might be a thing that you need to think about as you sort of grow older, is the need to change your diet, or the need to change your exercise patterns or your activity patterns, because of the deleterious effects just by virtue of the fact of aging, and by virtue of the fact that you may have a lot of different sorts of demands on your life that make things different. So that's just one example of why you might need to change. Another example might be that you are struggling with your emotions, or maybe you're feeling anxious or depressed with certain aspects of your life, or just in general. And one of the things that I've found, and I think this is borne out in research, is that increasing physical activity will help with both anxiety and depression for a lot of different reasons that I won't go into specifically today. However, if you choose the behavior of increasing physical activity in order to help your mood, or have that be a part of you feeling better about your existence in life, changing a behavior to do more physical activity could be very beneficial to you, and could help with the management of some of those difficult emotions that sometimes we go through. So that might be another reason that you would choose to change a certain behavior. So again, we all have our personal reasons, and I don't think there's a bad reason necessarily to change, especially if it's a reason that you feel like is going to bring you greater peace and greater success in your life. What I would like you to do with your behavior change is the same thing that I ask you to do with your changing of your thoughts. Keep the scope very focused and keep it small, because change takes effort, and it takes effort over a long period of time, and it will have or bring up some challenges. And if you try to change 6 behaviors instead of 1 or maybe 2, it's going to become overwhelming for you, and you will find that it becomes unmanageable, because even though those changes might be the very best thing for you, and on the backside, if you could consistently do those things differently for a long period of time, you could have great happiness and success. The focused attention and work that it takes to make even small changes, it will become overwhelming. And a lot of times what I've seen is people will, bow out, give up, say, I'm not doing this anymore, just because it becomes overwhelming and too difficult if you try to do too many things at once. So let's focus on something kind of small, and let's focus on that thing for a long enough time that it becomes a new habit, or it becomes a new way of you doing things. There's a couple of things that will make the change stick. One of those things is to find reinforcement. So whatever that reinforcement is for you, is it allowing yourself a small eccentric gift or something that you like if you meet certain milestones? Is it measuring the behavior, either seeing how often you do it and putting it on some sort of a graph or a measurement tool so that you can see your progress and you can see that your efforts are having a positive effect. Sometimes it's good to gain support when you're trying to make these changes. I think a great example of this is when people who feel like they drink too much, or they're given the moniker of alcoholic, and they use a tool such as AA, or Rational Recovery Group. This is a way to get and maintain community support in helping you to make and keep those changes that you desire, so that you're not in it alone. Sometimes joining a running group or a walking group will help reinforce the idea or reinforce the behavior change that you're trying to get to. I think Weight Watchers is another example of joining a certain kind of group to help you get that support that you desire. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to reinforce the efforts that you are trying to make in behavior change. One of the last things that I want to say when it comes to behavior change is that people can do this. I've worked with thousands of clients over the course of my career. I've worked with many people, subordinates who have worked for me and with me, and I have seen people go to great efforts to make change. And one of the things that I want you to keep in the back of your mind is that even the smallest change in behavior can sometimes have a huge effect on how you feel about yourself, how successful you feel like you are in life, the level of peace and happiness that can flow into your soul if you find the right thing to change and you find a way to make these efforts stick and you find the right reinforcements that keep you trying and that keep you coming back. No, just like with, the things we talked about with changing your thoughts, there can be some barriers, and there may be days when you feel like you didn't do your best, or you didn't do it at all, or you fell back into the old habits. That's okay. We're human. We can't be perfect. We can never be perfect as humans, but we can continue to try. And even if you, let's say you had the goal to go from working out no times a week to twice a week, and you go through a week and it's been particularly busy and you just didn't get it done those 2 times in that week, that's okay. Because in the past, whatever you had done to get to your goal, and however many weeks you had gone in getting to your goal, you were successful then. And so it's kind of like, let the week go, let the time go that you didn't meet your goal, and jump back on the wagon and keep going. Keep trying and keep working with it, because even though we want it to be the gradual ascent, always going up, 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 it's not always going to be that way, because we're imperfect humans and we're going to have some setbacks. So be compassionate with yourself, be understanding with yourself, and allow that to be okay. But then just once you realize that you didn't do the thing that you wanted to get done, you can get back on that path to making those changes in your life. If you can't tell, I love talking about behavior change. I love working in this arena of behavior change, and I hope in the next few weeks, us talking together, I can inspire you to let you know that you can be successful in behavior change, and I can help you think about this in a different way, find the reinforcements, and help you find success in making changes in your behavior. Thanks so much for listening. Please subscribe, and if you would, and you like this at all, please hit the like button. And I'll be back next week to talk with you a little bit more about behavior change. Thank you so much for listening, and take care.